What's up, Rose? Listen to me now and hear me later. Just over the last 20 minutes, been nothing but explosions going off here in Mexico, and people shooting off, fireworks and stuff. So I could not hear or speak or anything. I do have to uh, postpone the show until now, so I do apologize. Oh, so much. Just we gotta get charged up. I do apologize again. 10% out of. Oh man, 10% out of relationship. Oh man, I don't want to. I gotta. Let's talk about this. I always love how these YouTube streets kind of operate, because there's always somebody out there who's unsure about something, and usually the women are unsure. When you got no options, they got more options than you. That's hard. When they got more options than you, women, period, by default, have more options than you. Somebody actually reported one of my videos and actually got me deleted off of something. So anyway, let's take a look at this. What's going on here? No, we haven't done a podcast in a minute. We have been way out in the boonies. So if you guys didn't know, the hacienda, that's like 200 and I guess it's 218 years old. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't know how many years it is, but it's older than they probably think, because they always knock down these old buildings. When the Spanish came along, and the Spanish would like find these indigenous tribes have like some kind of like temple or something like that. It wasn't even their temple. The indigenous didn't build anything. All that stuff they inherited from the last civilizations that were here in Mexico before the Spanish came, even before the Mayans. And so there's a whole long listen, guys. If you could see down in the ground down here in Mexico, you would see that we too had mud floods. Okay, the neighbor next to me at the hacienda has about 5 feet of dirt right above a tunnel that goes underneath his house. It goes out to the parking lot, I guess, to where they used to have like the servants would come in, and they would come in through the bottom and they would come out the other side. So, well, anyway, you guys wanted to talk about how I could break up with girls so easily. Because someone is always got something to say that's like, not all men, not all girls, not all whatever. There's always talking in extremes. But it's not an easy thing to break up with somebody. It's it's a very heartbreaking thing for a man, more so than it is for a woman. Did you guys know that it takes us longer to recover from a breakup than it does a death? Did you guys know that? It's harder for a man to recover from a breakup than it is to recover from a death. Now I know why, and I don't want to, get too uh, philosophical about that, because it's like brain damage. It hurts our feelings, it hurts our brain, and then we lose our fucking minds. Men are the biggest babies when it comes to breakups. I'm of all of the people in the world, I am one of the worst. So there's no question about it. Even breaking up with a girl who is bad for me is hard for me, even sometimes. There's a friggin' football game on right now, and they're going crazy out there. So it's going to be a lot of vivas and all that shit. So we're not quieting down because this is a late night alumni starting early. And it's only 11 o'clock over here in Mexico. I don't know what time it is over there where you are. But I wish, and this is just me, okay? I don't want anybody going and tracking him down or none of that dumb shit, okay? But I would really love it if my own kid would tune into my podcasts on a regular basis just to hear me talk, because it seemed to me like he was relatively interested in like getting to know me. But I didn't think you know what it was? It was just like program combativeness. And his mom was one of the best breakups I ever did in my entire life. That it was like some kind of fucking James Bond. So if you guys want to hear this, I will not lie to you at any point in this story, period. Okay. So from start to finish, this thing was a toxic relationship from the word go. I was a rebound. She had just divorced an American guy, a black American guy. Now, she had been, you know, met this guy and, fell in love and had a baby and all that shit and, got married and everything. The problem with this is that she was from Turkey. And if you guys don't know about Muslim women that aren't as strict Muslim as they should be, they get around. See, they were in Germany. Her family was in Germany. So she was hanging around all those GIs, all those American GIs. They always do. 80% of okay. So I make up a percentage of men that break up with women, and it's nothing special. I'm not a sexy hunky guy. Do bodybuilding and all that shit, and yeah, that makes it special. But I always get extremely hot women. Now, when I say that, I mean very materialistic, ego, selfish, self-centered bikini type models. And since I was a bodybuilder, by default, if you win the competitions, you get the prettiest girls, and they'll go out to eat with you because we haven't eaten, and you know what I mean? We've been training and training and training, and you're like totally dehydrated. And then you go out to have pizza afterwards, and then you go back to your hotel and you wreck that chick. That's what we did. So the number one thing that chicks look for is fitness. And as men get older, we actually get in shape easier. I know it sounds crazy. We get in shape because we typically, most men anyway, have worked out at some point in their life and they have muscle memory. Now, the cool thing about muscle memory with old guys is that if your testosterone is a certain level and you go get TRT, you're just like being an 18-year-old body again. You got to get through the first month. You're going to have to get some blood tests done and check yourself out. You're going to have to get your blood pressure checked on a regular basis. And if you are sensitive to estrogen conversion or DHT, then you're going to have to get some tamoxifen. But most men to take these grandpa TRT shots, it's like 250 milligrams every 10 days. Me, I'm bodybuilder. When I was training and I was taking gear all the time, I was taking up to 1,500 milligrams a week. Okay, guys, that's a lot. But that's pro level shit. So an old man dose of testosterone and TRT, sorry. Since we're overseas, you go to the pharmacy and just go right up to them and say, I would like a shot of testosterone, please. And they will either shoot you in the arm with one, or you can buy the ampule yourself and go shoot yourself in the little butt cheeks if you wish. But what happens to you psychologically is it brings you back. Let's say you're a 45-year-old man and your testosterone is down in the dumpster because you don't feel as good as you used to. You know for a fact you're not horny all the time. You're not checking chicks out. You give a shit. Well, that's because of low testosterone. Now, because I was a pro bodybuilder and I took a bunch of steroids, I am permanently fucked as far as like my natural testosterone being where it was. But a person who does TRT is going to have the same testosterone naturally shutting yourself down. And if you're just going to be on TRT, that means you're always going to be going to the pharmacy, getting a shot in the arm or whatever, every week or 2 weeks or twice a week or whatever. So A TRT dose at a doctor's office in the US is going to cost you $150 just for the doctor visit. Then you got to get the blood test done. Now I have to get it, go see the doctor again, and then he determines how much you need and all this shit, which is all bullshit because they're going to lie to you. They're just going to give you a protocol of a protocol of a protocol that barely keeps a man half alive. So the protocol that they give is like one shot every 10 days. Now that's US. Over here in Mexico, it is once every Tuesday and Thursday at 125 milligrams per day, every other day. Sorry, Tuesday and Thursday. So a bodybuilder level would be Tuesday and Thursday, same thing, but it would be a higher dose. And then depending upon your level of training and all that shit, a pro bodybuilder wouldn't probably take anything more than 750 milligrams of test a week. And that's because they're eating tons and tons and tons of food that they're sponsored to take. They're taking other steroids on top of that, plus growth hormone, plus insulin, plus SARMs, plus peptides. They get up in the morning and they go train, then they go get a tan, then they go eat, and then they take a nap, and then they go train again, and they do, you know what I mean? So it's like living like a fucking horse, and you get bigger and bigger and more claustrophobic. Plus, it's more weight that your body's not used to carrying. Your heart is not used to carrying that much weight. So I decided that I was going to go off of everything, absolutely everything, and not take anything except creatine monohydrate. And then I'm not going to be eating tons and tons and tons of steak anymore. Okay, lots of ground beef and all that stuff. I'm not going to be doing any of that anymore. So, and I'm only doing intermittent fasting, so I'm eating once a day. So now I've gotten to the point where I am so skinny and so shredded that even my skin from my triceps, where they used to be when I was that big, are hanging down. So I lost a lot of fat in my arms. So in order to combat that, I need to take creatine monohydrate. I would be a guy that's on TRT right now, but I decided I'm training naturally, period. Right now, I'm just training naturally. It is not fun. I don't like it. I don't have the power. I don't have the size and increase. I have the massive diet. I don't have the crazy sex drive. I don't have unlimited energy. I'm not clearly focused. That's from not having testosterone. And basically, because my testosterone levels are so crushed that I actually feel terrible. So you can see a permanent, messed up fucking endocrinology system. So it's either you are on it or you are not. When you're on it, you're gonna feel great and you're gonna always look good, and your girls are gonna go be all over you because they could smell you. So this sucks that a girl breaks up on you because long distance relationships don't work. If we're too nice to them, if we leave with our wallets, there's a lot of factors. If you break up with a chick before she can break up with you, she will come fucking running and chasing from you because they're used to breaking up with guys. They're the ones that usually end in relationships. They're the ones who file for divorce. And they have their own reasons because social media gives them just a skeleton key to anything. All they have to do is say, "Oh, I'm hungry," and then send me $20 for a cash app. You know what I mean? And people do it. Simps do it all day long. So you got to think about this. You're a nice guy, or you're a good guy. You're a provider guy. You're a guy that's in charge of his life, and women really are secondary benefits from having a stable life. But I have not dated stable women because I was in the bodybuilding scene. So I always dated wildcat girls that were like top of the line, fake tits, beautiful faces, just stunning, the top of the line, the top shelf girls that you would think you would probably like, oh, I'd be so happy if I had that girl. No, I always ended the relationship because at the end it felt like a fucking job. And I would just say to these girls, you need to get out of my house. What? Why? Look, this job sucks. I quit. and I would look at them and I would be silent. And that is when they would lose their fucking mind because I didn't just date any girls. Okay. I'm talking about the top of the line Colombian, Venezuelan, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Argentine, fucking Panamanian, Costa Rican, Honduran, just so many pretty ones, and you think they're the prettiest. You know what? Fuck that. You always will find one that's even prettier than that one. I mean, I was at the fucking airport here in Mexico City, and I'm watching a plane load of girls and guys and families and kids offload off a plane from Colombia. And there was a black girl there that was like, they call them canelas because they look like cinnamon. The color of their skin is cinnamon. And she had the most beautiful body and face. Now, if you like black girls, guys, remember that my boys are black and my ex, it was black. And her lips were so beautiful. And she had a small face and she had a beautiful smile. Now, I'm not talking about a big teeth smile, but a natural, beautiful smile that just, I don't mess around on my girl. Let me tell you that. I don't mess around on my girl. I don't do business with guys who mess around on their girls. And I'm going to tell you something that if you're a single guy, you need to remember that there is an identical twin to every single girl you've gone out with. I've seen her and I probably did her too. So, regardless of what country it is or where in the world it is, there's an identical twin to that same girl that you got your meat hooks into and all these dumb emotions. And we were nice to them and we shouldn't have to be, we don't work for them. That's what I keep saying is that, first of all, we don't work for them. We don't work for you. So, anyway, they can't tell us how to talk, and they try and tell us how to talk. They try and tell us how we should feel. They cannot even imagine what it's like to be a man. So, long and short of it is that I've had horrible, horrible breakups because I always went with the top hot girls, the fake tits, the fake asses, the club girl, the, and they all have the same fucking story. They didn't, they had this crazy ex, toxic ex, didn't do this, didn't do that. He was an asshole. He cheated. They all cheat. They want to call fucking 911 if you cheat on them. So I'm reflecting back on my life and I reflect back on the time that my son's mother was involved with me and her reasoning for not wanting to unalive me. All the same reasons that all of us ever had. That most of us men are, you know, trying to spread seeds and shit. And so we're psychologically not made to sit with one woman. So I tried that whole going out with different chicks thing and rotations and, not answering calls, bullshit. You can't pull that game shit down here in Latin America. The first time that you leave a girl on red, she would legitimately get mad at you. I'm like, why are you being so lazy as to answer me back? Because they don't like playing games. Games are not something that their culture is accustomed to because they would really feel bad about ever saying anything to you that would hurt your feelings or make you feel bad. Which is why when what are these passport plantation people that say, oh, you're going down there for whores and all this shit. If you get a girlfriend from Colombia, she'll be so nice to you. She'll be so sweet to you, treat you like just the nicest partner you could ever ask for. And their bodies are sexy and they're not run through and they have values. And yeah, there's always those bad ones, but man, the ones that play the long game are the ones that have the fake tits already. And they just got them from some ex-boyfriend who was probably a narco. So you get these top, really, really high top girls that are far better than, I don't know, man. Latin America just does it for me. And the girls don't just get mad. When they get mad, they fucking explode. They fucking explode. So, like I said, they're replaceable. Do not get hung up on one. Treat it as if you know what I mean? They're supposed to spend time looking forward to spend time with you. You should not be thinking about them. You should be worried about getting to the airport faster, looking where your gate's at, then getting into your hotel and just chilling out, doing meditation, because then you get all that, take a shower, shave. You got to look good. You got to look tight and get that fresh pair of jeans out that you got at the mall and a white pair of shoes and a white polo, like I told you. And then you can go and say, yo, what's up? Pull up. And it's time. And it's on like Donkey Kong. You don't have to take them out for any fancy dinners. In Latin America, that's ridiculous. 2 tacos max, bro. And I'm gonna go have tacos with one right now. Do you think she's asking me for $300 dinners? Do you think she's asking me to pay her electric bill? She's not asking for anything. If she knows what's good for her, these are not dummies. This is what pisses me off about people have this opinion about people in Mexico or Colombia. They assume automatically people from Colombia are into cocaine and do drugs. Cocaine is an export. You know what they did to the history of the country? Just this the black eye it gave to the country. Most Colombians know what it does to the Americans, so they don't touch it because their life is also very fragile. And if they fuck one thing up in their life goes on without them. And they don't have a safety net of fucking rehabs and money to throw around like Americans do. If you got a kid that's on drugs and you put him in a rehab and it costs 30 grand, 30 grand. That's like 300 months of a Colombian salary to put a person into a rehab. It's like 30,000 US dollars would be like 300 salaries for a Colombian or a Mexican. That is how big of economy difference that we live in. I feel bad. Listen, I stayed in an Airbnb and it was like $400. And I think it was a week and a half. And $400 for me, now that I've been in Latin America all these years, seems outrageous. Like, are they ripping me off? And I'm just thinking to myself, the cheapest hotel that is in this area where I got to be close to where my event is or whatever is $80 a night. So it's $80 a night. Okay, whatever. If I go to the US, for example, if I fly to Tijuana, Tijuana has a bus, a regular public bus, takes you to the downtown. The downtown, you can actually walk to the border. If you want to take a taxi, it's $5. That takes you to the border, Tijuana. On the other side of Tijuana is San Ysidro, which is close to San Diego. Over there, they got banks, ATMs, get cash in stores, really like scary places. Actually, very, very scary. I wouldn't venture over there now worse than any. I have not been there in a few years, but one time when I did go, um, we passed back through, went to the bank, changed a bunch of dollars from dollars to pesos, and this homeless guy is like chasing after me. He's huge, big old blonde haired dude, no shirt on, jeans are like hanging off of his ass. And this dude comes running after me, hey man, and he's running after me, and his pants, like someone snatched him down around his knees. And this guy went whack, face down onto the concrete. And it was at that moment I knew that there's something around me special. There's something that's special around me that is keeping an eye on me. And call it whatever you want. But this has been made it easier for me to really just say what is good for me and not accept the bad at all. And to be able to stand up for myself against any girl that I go out with that has some thing that bothers me, and I'm not going to stand by and allow it to happen. Okay. And there's a number of things that boundaries sometimes piss people off. If you don't have boundaries, people will walk all over you. And if you don't have standards, shit, that's even worse. That's why I only dated models. They didn't have a bunch of tattoos, they didn't have a bunch of piercings. They had perfect fucking bodies all the time. They always worked out and all that good shit that you think would be important when if you're just having sex with them for sport, then it is not. Because if you can't really share um, you know, fat, juicy butt with a guy that you plan on marrying, having children, and all this stuff with. I mean, if she gives it up on the first night, that's the kind of girl you're going to deal with. If you put your wallet on your fucking head and you lead the relationship with your wallet, she's going to expect that from you every single time. And I have made that mistake over and over again blindly, not even realizing I was doing it. So, my really great suggestion to all you guys is that realize that you're valuable, way, way, way more valuable than you know. And it could be a young guy, old guy, doesn't matter to me. I'm not referring to any economic, any economic stuff that may or may not apply to you. So if it doesn't apply to you, don't worry about it. So anyway, it's easy to break up with them and you treat it like it's a job. You treat it like being with them was a fucking chore. You got to look at it for what it is. It didn't get that way overnight. She was probably sucking your dick every night, 3 or 4 times a day when you met her. And then all of a sudden she stops. Next thing you know, she's on her phone all the time. And they could be sitting right next to you, could be texting the fucking guy that they're planning on going to talk to in the fucking park when they go walk the dogs. So you can understand there is no boundaries in a lot of these evil relationships that you have with these women that are demonic. And I'm going to call them for what they are. I bind them now in the name of Jesus. If they're bothering you, then I'm going to go ahead and use that. If you guys do not believe in any of the religion stuff, then that's great. Then you're like me. You believe in the God that might be out in outer space or he might be in me. But I don't feel very normal, so I'm protected by this mean old man in space with a stop sign that says no fun, I guess. Or I could just be connected to this superpower in space that's connected to everybody and helps me with my goals. It's that still small voice inside of me that I would love to call my inner voice. But when I went to these ceremonies where I'm getting therapy from, my ego literally is trying to impress these entities that I'm dreaming about, by the way. I'm not awake, I'm not seeing shit, none of that stuff. Having a therapy session, and it's just dreams and dreams and dreams and dreams of things that I could correct in my life. And one of those times that I had a very, very amazing backwards life experience where I reflected everything backwards in my life, going back to every country I've been to, every hot girl I've gone out with, and the good times behind those relationships. I was able to travel back in time where I was with a girl from Tahiti. I was with a girl from Greece. I was with a girl from Turkey. I was with a girl from Egypt, a girl from Lebanon, a girl from Tunisia. And all of these girls were so exotic to me. And they were so pretty and so just alive. And I had been married to a dead fish American girl, Americanized from a Swiss family. But she was Americanized and definitely American. And her job and her purpose in life was to indirectly annoy me to death. She was so dumb. And I hate to say that about a person, but the poor thing was so uneducated and so just uninspired to do anything. And it was not easy for me because you know what? She was pregnant. And I had started drinking after being sober for about the first 5 years of my military service. I had not drank anything. And so this is when my life started to swirl the bowl. And I started going out with these tramps. I got into bodybuilding heavy duty because, I was trying to fill that God sized hole in my heart. What I would try to fill with the gym, or try to fill with girls, or try to fill with money, or stupid watches, or fancy cars. I have had all the fancy cars that a man can buy. Okay. I trained with the top rock stars of all bodybuilders in the world, the rock stars of the military, of first special operations. So there is no shaming or negating or minimizing anything that I have had to experience because I got to watch it in reverse. I watched my life in reverse. I got to see my years pass by me in reverse and all these good places I've been to and all the good things I had done to the point um, where I could actually go and message my asshole brother and tell what a good fucking life I'd had. No, not as if I was dead or anything, but I'm like, I have had an amazing motherfucking life. And it isn't because of anything special I did. I just went through these cycles. Hot girl, great job, bad situation, la 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 la, bad breakup, heartbreak, paranoid, you know, new girl, a girl gets the new guy. I feel shit on. You suffer for fucking months. You feel like going to beat the guy's ass, but you know it's going to make you look weak. So there's all the scenarios that you play through in your head. And it all comes down to every single one of these things is your fucking fault anyway. Every single thing bad that has ever happened to any of us in our lifetime, good or bad, is our fault. Every single thing, every decision we've made. And if it can be that, oh, she cheated on me, how did I make a decision? Well, you picked that girl. And we're going to live with that. Got to take responsibility for every single thing, take accountability because they're never going to take accountability. They're never going to tell the truth. They're going to lie behind your back. They're going to fuck around behind your back with your best friends. Your friends are going to flirt with them. You're not going to know what to do. So you're going to look at it as weakness and she's going to fuck around behind your back. And if you're a long distance relationship, unfortunately, there's a the chances are less than average that those work out. And I wish they did because it would be so convenient. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, I could hop on a plane tomorrow and go to Medellin and go see XYZ, stay in such a hotel. And then I could fly up to Panama and I go to the Habanero's fucking cigar bar and then pick up whatever fucking scallywag fucking girl I want. But I don't want all that. I don't care for all that. That shit's boring to me. What the fuck is a bitch like that gonna do with a motherfucker like me? What am I gonna introduce her to all the fucking fire chiefs around Mexico? Run around with a fucking prostitute with titties out to here like this, fake lips, fake ass. I'm not. You know what? That was me once. But it's so boring because what's she gonna do? You get a girl that looks like a porn star. Whoop de fucking do. After a while, you start to realize this woman's been run through. That's why she knows all these tricks. And she's lying to you. And she thinks she's smarter than you. You know what I'm saying? So it is so much easier to not play the game. Come down here, don't play stupid games, don't lie to these girls. play a game along with me, and that is tell the truth all the time, because sometimes it's embarrassing for people, and sometimes it like heaps burning coals on people's fucking heads when you tell the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. And you know what? Most men lie all the time anyway, so always kind of waiting for you to lie. They're gonna let it slide. Then they're gonna hold resentment against you because they know some bullshit about you because you bullshitted about that. So I say always tell the truth, or at least don't lie, and do it as a game. Because sometimes when liars lie, you can talk and you be authoritative because they can't catch you in a lie for shit. Because if you don't lie to anybody, then you get the power of the freedom that Jesus talks about. It says, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. It'll make you free. Freedom from feeling in bondage or feeling enslaved to being an egotistical asshole who feels they need to lie all the time. Why do men lie? Because they want to get in their pants. Why do we lie to each other? Because we feel insecure about our possessions. Because a lot of us were raised to worship money. And that is why all Americans tend to do is talk about money, income, things that are expensive. When I grew up in a junkyard, okay, I took old furniture apart. I took old speakers out of every single thing that had a speaker in it. I took magnets off the speakers. I was a junkyard dog. That was my favorite thing in the world, was go on the day that people put big garbage out on the street. I was the first to go pick all the good shit. It just happened to be when I was walking home from school. And me and my friends would go and make forts out in the woods with this old furniture. It was so much fun. So you could see, I love living in a bit of organized disaster, meaning that because I have 30 different projects to do at a time, that it may appear on the outside that that truck will never get finished. And then, lo and behold, the next week it's done. It's already out putting out fires. And then you might say to yourself, well, this person is never going to get that done. And you see their project car sitting in their yard forever, and their woman tricks them into selling the damn things when they need to get rid of the woman and don't jump in that fucking 57 Cadillac, drive that thing around. Because which is easier to replace, 57 Cadillac or a girlfriend? I'm going to go ahead and say the girlfriend can be replaced. I mean, think about it. You spend a lot of money getting a passport to begin with, flying to certain places, getting visas, staying in hotels. You don't know where you are. It's terrifying sometimes if you're feeling that way because you don't know anybody. That's why a lot of you guys get girlfriends before you even land. You've already got them waiting for you at the airport. It's a sucker move. I know you got no balls and you've never been to Panama or never been to Nicaragua, and you made it very convenient for yourself to go and sort of virtually hook up with a girl in that country, looking on all the different apps and all that shit. And then you guys sort of make a commitment to each other and you haven't even met each other. This girl was sending me pictures of her when she was like 17 and shit. She was like 35. And then when I got off the plane, I'm looking at this girl like, your daughter with you? Jesus. So you see what I'm saying? Don't do that. Don't just hitch up with the first one you see. 58 Chrysler. Right now, I'm working on a 200 and something year old ex hacienda castle. You would appreciate the detail in this beautiful building built by the revolutionaries. Today is the day that most Americans would think of Cinco de Mayo, that Mexicans would celebrate. That's not the day they celebrate. Today is the day they celebrate independence. And so they're shooting off fireworks and drinking tequila, and there's everybody in the street, and people are cooking, making tacos. And I'm going to go have tacos too. Right now, 11:36. I get off tacos at 2 a.m. and oh no, it's not. Today's Friday. You can buy one get one free on Monday through Thursday. So whenever you come down to Mexico, I want to hang out with the professor for a while and help me do some welding because we got to make some spires and everything. And I'm going to recycle. I'm going to pick up anything I can find in a junkyard to use to make spires, and I'm going to make them turn copper like I did those fenders. Because as long as it's not stainless steel, they will turn. I don't understand this. It was stainless steel. I have a sink and I've been trying to turn it, but it has some kind of coating on it that's just not allowing the chemicals to work. So I know I can make anything look like copper, and it's fantastic. It's amazing. So if you guys want to see me do that tutorial, do me a favor, hit the like button. Make sure you share this video so you can be sure that you use my words when you're going to break up with a girl. Look at her dead in the eyes and tell her, get out of your house. Get out of my house. If it's her house, you tell her too, get out of my house. And then she'll argue with you that it's her house. Well, now she acknowledges what the first thing you said, that this job sucks and I quit. Now get out of my house. I don't work for you. And you do it just like that. You got to be as bold as possible. If you need to practice saying it in a mirror or practicing it with other people, you probably should, because you can detach all emotion from it. As you get those words out and stop being a pussy about everything, it's so much easier when you work on yourself. You know what I mean? Get jacked up a little bit. Get jacked up a little bit. Work on the diet a little bit. Make sure you tie up all these loose ends. So you're not like me and you got 15 fucking houses that you're jumping around from place to place. Be organized like a soldier, like military precision. You know, and I know that if you take a girl on a plane with you, she's not concerned. She's going to be looking at duty-free shops and all this shit. And you got to take her by the hand and say, hey, listen, our flight leaves in 10 minutes. We're going to have 5 lines when we get there. You need to do me a favor and follow me and stop looking around. We're not stopping for any of this shit. We got 10 minutes to get there. Get there, duty-free my ass. Go in, check in. If the line is boarding, get your ass in the line you're supposed to be in. Don't be one of these dickheads that jumps from like group 5 and jumps to 1 and acts stupid. Like, oh, I didn't know. So don't play these games. Don't play any games in the airport that's going to draw attention to you and they're going to get all confused. They're like, oh, wait a minute, this is an aggressive passenger. Next thing you know, you're on the no-fly list. Don't be stupid, okay? Something else to look out for too is if you have laptops or iPads or things like that in the DR, they tried to steal my iPad. And the big gray bins that you're supposed to pass your shoes and all that shit in, they hid it underneath one of the trays and then moved it around like the fucking Harlem Globetrotters trying to hide this shit from me like a shell game. And I'm sitting there watching this kid, and I saw him put it in between these 2 buckets. And I was like, where's my shit? And I want to make a scene about it. And I realized, I said, that bucket right there, that guy's got my stuff. And I went right over there and I pull all these, I dramatically thrown all these buckets off. I could have just lifted it up and took it. Like my shit. But I had to make a clown out of myself. Emotional control. I wasn't practicing stoicism at all. I was just learning about it. So anyway, I want to appreciate you. I appreciate you guys for being here tonight. I got to charge my phone, and we got some big turkey legs that are rotisserie and they're delicious. Anyway, tune back in. Maybe we'll jump back on here later on tonight. I'm the professor, and I'm out. Appreciate it.